Is it hot enough for you? I think it's pretty warm outside. Could affect a lot of high school football games tomorrow night. Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Rosenblum. This is SoCal Prep Report. My buddy's here, Tarek from SB Live. We're going to kick it around here for the next 30 minutes. A little later in the show, we're going to talk Monrovia football. Jose Casagran, head coach there. He's got his football team out to a 2-0 record. He's also got his fine running back, Josh Griffiths, with us, and he's scored a lot of touchdowns early in the year. How about this heat wave?
109 in Chatsworth today. It reminded me, I want to say, God, 2020, 2021, it got to 121 degrees in Woodland Hills. I don't think it'll get that hot, but man, it is toasty, and I think it's going to get hotter tomorrow for Friday football. It'll be interesting to see how games start, if they start at all, and if they do, if they're delayed.
It was hot last week, and the hottest guy might have been a guy by the name of Trent Mosley of Santa Margarita. He was terrific, scores 3 touchdowns in a huge win over Corona Centennial. I think the so-called experts coming into this game would have thought that Centennial would win this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought no shot Santa Margarita would win, especially after how good Corona Centennial looked in their loss to Mater Dei without Hassan Longstreet. So Hassan Longstreet, 5-star quarterback going to Texas A&M. Everyone's like, oh man, Centennial is going to be the team to beat in that game, and they weren't. Santa Margarita was actually up 24-0 and was up 31-0 in the third quarter at one point.
And Mosley was the difference. He was sensational.
Yeah, Coach Rougier over at Santa Margarita was saying they kept things a lot shorter. Remember, this is a team that lost 35-7 in week 0 to Mission Viejo. So coming into Centennial, we're thinking, they could be off to an 0-2 start. No, it's the Huskies that are off to an 0-2 start. And Trent Mosley, yards after catch, were unbelievable in that game.
Well, you saw his speed on that touchdown. You can see why he scored 3 touchdowns in the ballgame. Let's check out this one. How about Sierra Canyon bouncing back? They had an earlier loss to St. John Bosco, but they looked terrific against Oaks Christian. Wyatt Becker, the quarterback of Sierra Canyon, tossing a couple scores.
That's right. They were off a tough loss to Jay Sarah and now playing Oaks Christian. I talked to Coach John Ellinghaus. He said, hey, man, this game's really important early on in this season. It's a good Oaks Christian team, and we need to show some bounce back. I think there was a little hangover. They had a week 0 game in Hawaii, then came and played Jay Sarah, got rolled, and then were able to bounce back against Oaks, and now they got St. John Bosco coming up this weekend.
You believe in Sierra Canyon, don't you? You still think they have an outstanding team?
I do, and when you say believe, I think, yes, I believe that they're of the ilk of Division I playoff football now in the Southern section. I still need to see them compete with the Jay Sarahs, the St. John Boscos of the world. They got Lou on the schedule. Do they need to win the Mission League? Because I just don't know if they can quite contend with the Mater Deis and the St. John Boscos of the world yet.
Can anyone contend with Lenny Ibarra, the running back for the Griffins of Los Alamitos? He had a huge game in propelling his squad to a victory over City Power Narbonne 49-6. 7 carries, and he has 170 yards?
I think I saw this one coming. You know, look, for me, Narbonne is the team to beat in the city because all the talent they have, but I think we all know, and even if you don't, the city's skill level isn't as what it used to be. So I commend programs like Narbonne, Carson, Birmingham went and played St. Bonaventure. Going and playing these other Southern Section powers and really testing your tools, sharpening your tools for what's to come in the city section ends up being a benefit because those are the teams that those are the teams to beat in the Open Division.
Yeah, it's really helped Birmingham in the last 4 years winning championships. They've lost a lot of games outside the city section. Once they bounce back into city competition, they seem to breeze. We'll see if that trend continues. All right, Sarah by 36-0 over Warren. But Warren had some issues. One, this game was stopped at halftime. Their star quarterback, Madden Iamali Eva, is not on campus anymore. Apparently he may have checked out. And their brilliant wide receiver, the big guy, Chase Brown, another UCLA commit like Madden Iamali Eva, they're gone. They're not playing. Yeah,
there was be on the lookout. Check out for my Twitter timeline here coming up in a couple weeks because those guys are on the move. I'm not exactly sure where they're going to end up, but they could end up at Long Beach Poly, both Madden Iamaleava and Jace Brown. UCLA commits. There was a little bit of a falling out. They end up not going to the Sarah game. Not only did they not play, they just weren't even there.
Right.
And now they're not even on the roster. It's official. They've already checked out of school. We're just kind of hoping to see, not hoping, excuse me, we're waiting to see where they land.
Well, it's landing pretty good for Monrovia. A huge win over Eagle Rock. Again, here's a cross section, a southern section school really taking it to Eagle Rock, although the Eagles did put 40 on the board. This must have been a fun game to watch.
Another example, in my opinion, and I think Andy Moran, the coach at Eagle Rock, would agree with this. City section teams need to go play Southern section teams and prepare for their own league and the city section playoff. So I always, again, commend city section teams for going and challenging Southern section teams. They come up short, but they know they're getting better.
Yeah, Eagle Rock has a great quarterback in Liam Paston. He had a nice game against Monrovia, but it wasn't enough. So let's bring in the coach, Jose Casagran, who's been around for a long time. We knew him when he was at Garfield and at Roosevelt, and his fine running back, Josh Griffiths. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Guys, I got to talk about it. 59-40, a lot of points. Coach, are you thrilled that your offense performed, or are you disappointed that your defense gave up 40? How'd you look at that when you walked off the field that night? We're not hearing him for some reason.
Coach, I think your mic might be muted, Coach.
He's checking it, as you can see. I love this. That's what live television is all about.
I think we got you.
No, let's go.
No,
Josh.
Let's talk to Josh. No worries, Coach.
Josh, your thoughts about the offense scoring so many points, but the defense allowing 40. It had to be a fun game for you, though, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. But you could just tell, like, during the second half, we definitely left off on the gas. We kind of put our twos in, and we just kind of fell apart with our defense. But our offense, we did an amazing job.
I like your honesty. The offense was amazing. And you've had an amazing start to the season. I know you have a lot of touchdowns. You were an all-league performer a year ago. So I guess you're not surprised with your success. But what's the difference from your junior year to your senior year? What makes you a better football player in your final year?
I think I'm just getting more touches with the ball, and then it's giving me, like, more opportunities to do my work and get more touchdowns and more yards.
Coach, let's check in back with you. Can you hear us? Oh, man, yeah, I don't know what's going on. We still can't hear you. So, Josh, spotlight is on you, my friend. Talk a little bit more about growing from one year to the next. Randy asked about your personal difference, but what's gotten better as a team aspect? What are you guys growing on going into the 2024 fall season?
As a team, just this year, we lost our senior quarterback, Ryan Salazar, so we were relying on this new freshman quarterback, Jesse. And as a team, we just thought we wouldn't be doing together, like really doing good together, but we kind of just worked our butts off during the summer, and we came like a really good like program just together. And you can tell like we're just all like we're overall like around like a better team together with like just like emotionally and physically, and then like we're definitely a lot stronger than we were last year.
As a senior veteran, what are some things that you can do to bridge the gap between like you're saying, you lost a veteran quarterback, and now you have a freshman quarterback. But you as a senior, can you give an example or two that might be able to help that freshman bridge the gap between being so inexperienced and maybe getting his feet wet in his first varsity season?
Yeah, I just keep on letting him know that like he's been playing this sport for a very long time, and I just gotta have to keep on giving faith in him. Like having all my other seniors and juniors and sophomores telling him that he's doing a good job and he needs to keep good composure.
Since we have the split screen with the head coach, Jose Casagran, but for some reason there's a technical bug and we can't hear him, we're going to have Josh tell everyone why Jose is such a good coach. Talk about your coach.
Coach Casagran came in last year, and you could just tell like the steady improvement that we've had as a program. We're all like, I'm pretty sure we're all like at least 10 pounds up in weight. We're all getting stronger. My weight went up from 135 to 160 in 2 years. So we're all doing better.
One of the aspects of Monrovia football, the numbers were down for a while. Josh, is there a good turnout? Do you have a lot of bodies playing football? Is there a JV program that's building up? What are the numbers like at Monrovia right now?
It's funny you say our JV team. Our JV team hasn't been 2-0 in I don't know how many years, and now we're 2-0. So that's really good progress. Varsity, we're having a good 2-0 start. So I would say we're doing really well.
Josh, my last question for you. We talked a little bit off camera. You're a two-sport athlete. You play football, you play baseball. We were kind of joking which one you like better. I'm not going to ask you that on the air. But do you take pride in being a two-sport athlete? How much fun is that?
Yeah, it feels good knowing that I can do two things really good. You know what I mean?
I see you're wearing a USC shirt. Does that mean that you've been offered a scholarship in both sports? Does that mean you have a desire to play
No,
for the
no.
Trojans?
I just have really hopes, and I really love the school over there.
All right, let's try Jose Casagran. I know he was biting his tongue, but Coach, I know you love the fact that you're the head coach again. You've had a long career at a lot of different schools. Tell us your thoughts about being the head mentor at Monrovia.
Well, it was always kind of a dream school for me, just because of all the success they've had. And, I remember when I was in high school, college, I remember Chris Hale was there. He was at Glendale College at the same time I was, and, went on to SC and then Nebraska. Oh, no, I want to say Nebraska, right? And then the Bills. So he had a tremendous career. So I was always familiar with it. I had a friend that went to South Pass High School, so they would play. So it was kind of exciting. One high school, small city, coming from LAUSD, so big, so many schools. So it was really exciting. I think it's been a great opportunity. When I got there, it was very different than what I expected, but I think my goal is always to leave a place better than when I got there. And we've already made a lot of inroads in terms of building the foundations of the program. So I'm pretty excited. I have a great administration. Kids are great. Facilities are great. So I'm having a good time.
Coach, you have a history, as you mentioned, LASD City Section. Hey, they announced today that the East LA Classic's going to be at SoFi Stadium. How cool is that?
Yeah, I knew that.
You've got some history with the game, but to know, hey, that game's going to be at SoFi, that's pretty special. Your comments on that?
You know what? I got to coach at the LA Memorial Coliseum 3 times, one for a championship game and 2 classics. And it was an experience that I'll never forget, that I know the kids really loved. We got to practice there one night before the game. So it's going to be the same thing for these guys, just in a new venue. And it's something that it's going to be a lifelong memory that they're going to really enjoy. I think it's great. East LA Classic, is a fantastic game. I'm so proud to have been part of it, to being very successful in it. I'd just like to say everyone but one that I was associated with. So I think the kids are going to have a fantastic time. I couldn't be happier for both coaches, both schools, and all the players.
Coach, before I let you go, I got to talk a little bit about tomorrow night. You got a game at Glendale, so you're going into the Valley. I know it's going to be cool there tomorrow night. How are you preparing for the temperatures that'll be soaring over 100 degrees and probably a kickoff time? You're not sure when the game's going to start.
Yeah, right now it's been rolled back to about 7:30. We do a good amount of conditioning, and the kids have been kind of acclimating slowly to temperatures. They only benefit being so hot for many days in a row, and you do have a chance to acclimate, to get used to it. So I don't think it's going to be as big an issue as people think. As the sun drops, the actual heat that you feel is really goes down. So I think both schools are going to be fine. A little worried, but I think we talk about how time. Josh is probably sick of hearing about it. So I think we'll be all right. I think both schools will.
I know this. I've acclimated to the air conditioning really well. So I wish
every
you
time
guys...
I walk out of the building.
Coach, I wish you well. Josh, congratulations on a great start to your season. Guys, good luck tomorrow night in Glendale.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good guys. Feel bad
Awesome.
about Jose's mic there, but it finally came back.
We got him when it counted. We got him before we had to let him go. And listen, a program that's headed in the right direction. Love to hear that the lower levels are doing well. That's awesome. You always want to see good numbers in programs, and that's a good thing to hear.
And it was a concern for Jose when he took over the program, and the numbers were low, and they're starting to build up. So I'm glad to see that as well. All right, let's take a look at some great performances from a week ago. We're going to start with a guy by the name of Gavin Gray. He ran for over 350 yards and 6 touchdowns for Los Alamitos in that game over Narbonne. So Gavin really lit it up. TJ Lateef, now we were at the game. I saw Lateef throw the 5 touchdowns against Rancho Cucamonga. He had 4 in the first half when they kind of blew out the Cougar football team. Lateef has a very quick release.
Yeah, he's headed to Nebraska for a reason, and that's Big Ten football. So you got to know how to play the game. You have to be tough. and you have to be focused. The interactions I've had with TJ Latif, very mature, focused young man, and I think that's going to bode well for him at the next level.
And his receivers, Flores and Hennessy, are really good as well. Got a great tight end. He figures Latif to have a big season. Those are two of the guys in gray and Latif. We move next to Josh Monroe of Capo Valley. How about 268 yards, 4 touchdowns in the win over University High School in Irvine?
Yeah, more big performances here in the Southland. We're just getting going. I mean, there's more big performances to come. Anthony League, big time running back.
He really is. And again, the 179 and the 4 scores, picking on a good Carson team. And Torino Spain of Lawndale. I mean, I haven't seen him play, but if you look at the player of the week, he had 2 touchdowns receiving, 2 rushing the football, and he returned a kickoff for a TD against Bellflower.
Sounds like Zachariah Branch at a USC. No, I'm kidding. That's the kind of dynamic players that we see on Friday nights. That's the truth. I mean, at the really, really high levels, most guys are just playing one way. But, hey, to do special teams, to play offense, to play a little defense. I know Shane Rosenthal at Newbury Park.
Yeah.
He does both things, so it's tremendous to see performances like that.
Yeah, Rosenthal scores catching the ball and interceptions. Shane Rosenthal's a great player out at Newbury Park. That's a good analogy there. All right, let's take a look at SB Live's top 10. And no shock here who number one, actually the first few teams is not really a shock. Mater Dei and Bosco, 1-2 again. Mission Viejo off to a wonderful start. Jay Serra's outstanding. Kind of like, by the way Fui Ava of St. John Bosco, the quarterback, Matai Fui Ava, has been early in the year. He's really thrown the ball. I think that might have been a question mark for Bosco coming in. It isn't anymore. Anything catches your eye there?
No, not at all. I think what is ironic is, well, it's Mater Dei and St. John Bosco at 1-2 again. I think myself, even Eric Sonheimer at the LA Times, you're just trying to like maybe mix it up at the top just to make it interesting. And then 2 weeks in, it's like 1-2, Bosco and Mater Dei, and Mater Dei, of course, at number 1. But obviously that could change this week. Mater Dei's playing Bishop Gorman. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that's a huge game, and that could end up having some national championship implications down the line.
That's why Bishop Gorman should be in the Trinity League.
Oh, great.
I'm just kidding. Okay. But it was bantered around last year, actually. But legally, there's a bylaw in the CIF that they have to be a California school, and they are in Nevada, as everyone knows. All right, that's our top 10 for the Southern section. Time to talk about the top 10 in the city section. Even though Birmingham lost its opener, it was against a good Southern section school. They lost to St. Bonaventure. They're a really good football team, apparently, because they played them tough.
Yeah, I do rankings every week, as you know, Randy, and I have Narbonne number 1, just because I know everyone wants to keep Birmingham up top because of how dominant they've been in the city, but this is a new year. I understand respect, but Narbonne, I think, has the skill players, the veteran players to probably beat Birmingham. And Jim Rose will tell you, this Birmingham team, Jim Rose is the coach at Birmingham, they only have 9 seniors. They lost a lot of players. They're not quite as good as they used to be, but they are getting better. So maybe they'll be better. Maybe they'll be the team we all expect them to be at the end of the year. Time will tell.
But again, they put up some points, like 27 points against St. Bonaventure, and that is a very positive mark going forward. I do like Gardena. They have a running back, Xavier Grant. Kid, he's like 6 feet, 230 pounds. You can see they're 2-0 already. He's on his way to Air Force. He's going to be a running back at Air Force. He's just a physical beast. And I think he's going to be one of the best players in the city this year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun to see. The Open Division will have a lot of parity. There's no question about that, more than ever. And the team, to me, that actually I would keep an eye on is Palisades. They got a quarterback that transferred from Loyola named Jack Thomas, and he's throwing the ball all over the field. The Dolphins, I think, will be an Open Division team, and I think they're likely to win the Western League.
And let's not overlook Banning. They're 2-0. They're ranked in the top few as well. Got them 3rd right now. Pilots have a very solid team. So that's a look right now at the city section. Let's also talk a little flag football. That's getting underway. It's supposed to get underway tonight. I know San Pedro, which is one of the best teams in the LA City section, went to the finals and lost to Birmingham last year. It was supposed to start tonight. I don't know if they did because of the heat, but we'll see if they got their game. Maybe tomorrow we'll see that if they won another game, because they seem to win most of the games. San Pedro is a very good flag football team, and San Pedro should be one of the contenders in the LA City section. In the southern section, Orange Lutheran 10-0 already. Jay Sarah is 5-0. So seems to be the team right now. Orange Lutheran in football, both the guys and the ladies seem to be very strong.
Yeah, I don't know much about the teams, but I will say this. I've said it from the beginning. I knew that the girls flag football would boom, and it is. Participation is up. The Southern section is now going to have championships. The city section already has. It's just, I think we're going to see here within the next half a dozen years, I think we'll see college scholarship girls flag football. It'll be women's flag football in college.
There'll be a triple header tomorrow at Wilson High School. Garfield's field is being worked on. It's against King Drew. They'll play a flag football game at 2. Again, we don't know about the weather permitting. JV football at 4 and the 7 p.m. the varsity game. I think that might get called off. I can't see a game being played at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I doubt anything in the afternoon is going to be played. They might have to move that game to Saturday morning. I saw some games in the Southland get moved to Saturday morning due to the heat. Interesting times, but hey, have to play it safe. Way too hot out there with pads to be playing football.
Last week we had Randy Luna on from Fulton Prep. We had his running back, Kevin Aguilar. Aguilar is also a very good linebacker. And they gave us some some love. Instagram being on the show. They were very appreciative. They were nice guys. And hey, they're giving back to us.
Yeah, very, very cool. It's always nice to get a little reciprocation, but hey, look, we're being honest, this is our job. Our job is to highlight high school athletics, high school sports, high school players, high school coaches, and all the young people out there. So thank you, but we're just doing our job.
Speaking of our job, it gets a little easier when you have matchups like this. Bishop Gorman at Mater Dei tomorrow. Mater Dei's played them 3 times, won all 3. The last one was a very close game a couple years ago in Las Vegas. That's going to be a heck of a football game.
Yes, it is, and I will be there in the nice air-conditioned press box, that's for sure. Actually getting a little pregame lunch with Steve Fryer from the OC Register before the game, so looking forward to that. But if I'm not mistaken, there are 38 combined 3-star athletes or higher. I believe there's 2 or 3 5-stars, a bevy of 4-stars, and a plethora of 3-star athletes.
20 of them belong to Bishop Gorman,
That's right.
18 to Mater Dei. Bosco 2-0, Sierra Canyon 2-1. This should be a terrific game, and this will tell us how good Sierra Canyon is.
An absolute Division I playoff football litmus test for Sierra Canyon, and they'll get another chance against Orange Lutheran, I think, in a couple weeks. Listen, this Trailblazer journey with Coach John Ellinghaus, he's the first and only football coach they've ever had. He took the program over, I think, in like 07 or 08. They did 8-man football for a little bit, went to 11-man football in 09, 10, something like that, and have been on the rise ever since. They played St. John Bosco one time, and it was during the abbreviated season in spring of 2021, and that game was 42-21, and it was close at halftime. But it showed that Sierra Canyon, it showed that they belonged. And here we are a couple years later, about 3 years later, and we'll see if they can bridge that gap a little bit closer.
Gorman, Mater Dei may not be the most entertaining game on the slate.
There we go.
Pacifica of Oxnard and Newbury Park will really light it up. You have quarterbacks in Duran and Smigel. They're both going to throw it 40 times.
Yeah, Dominic Duran already has 10 touchdown passes in 2 games. He's got a wide receiver named Savion Taylor that's like just unbelievable. And then Newbury Park, yeah, Brady Smigel going to Florida State, and Shane Rosenthal, who we spoke about earlier in the show. We're talking, look, I'm not like putting lines or anything on the game, but the over-under on the scoring should be like maybe like in the 70s.
Now, you like Newbury Park to win the game.
I do. I this is one of the games I predicted this week, and I did pick Newbury Park. However, Pacifica is in that Marmoni League, and they're ready to roll. Newbury Park's in the Conejo Coast League, so it's a kind of a different level, but I just think Newbury Park, they already beat Milliken. It's going to be a fun game. I do give the edge to Newbury Park. However, would not be surprised if Pacifica won the game.
Maybe this is the game of the night. El Camino Real hosting North Hollywood. Now, of course, we got Sarah and Long Beach Poly. You got Sarah 1-1 and Long Beach Poly 0-2. That one, Poly has to win, I think. To start 0-3, that'd be tough for them to get into the highest division.
Yeah, I find it. I don't think Long Beach Poly was headed for Division I anyway, and so I think they're looking more like Division II, probably more like Division III if they do start 0-3 or 0-4. But they've got the Moore League, so they'll be fine once they get to league play.
I skipped ahead, but I was so excited that the North Hollywood Huskies are going to be on our air. That's my alma mater. How about the Huskies so far this year? 87 points scored. They have not allowed a point. El Camino has been shut out in its first 2 games. Opposites attracting tomorrow night on LA 36. but ECR's played the tougher schedule. Makes for a very intriguing game.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does in a lot of ways. It does make it more intriguing. Yeah, I would still give the edge to North Hollywood. That's because they're probably playing with a little more confidence, and that goes a long way for young people. So the Huskies are probably going to win that game, although with you on the call, anything could happen.
El Camino beat them last year 14-7 at North Hollywood, so it should be a very close football game. All right, some great performances by guys in college football that came from our sections here in Los Angeles in the southern section. We're going to start with Nico Iamaleava for Tennessee, 314 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Tennessee Volunteers against Chattanooga. The 314 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half.
Yeah, you know, this is a lot of people think Nico's the best quarterback in the country. So maybe he showed why there in that first half, but went to Warren High, SoCal product.
How about Noah Fafita of Servite lighting it up for Arizona? They laid it on New Mexico, 422 yards and 4 touchdowns. And how about T-Mac McMillan? He's a mismatch. Now, one thing about McMillan, he was the National Player of the Week.
Yeah, Tet McMillan, I remember Fafita and Tet McMillan their senior year came and played Sierra Canyon at Pierce College. Randy, it was surgical how good those guys were, and that's when Troy Thomas was the coach. It was like watching the Marines go out there, and just structure, discipline, and everything was so crisp and pure, and they really rolled Sierra Canyon. But Noah Fafita and Tet McMillan were head and shoulders above everybody else, and it's not surprising they're doing it at the college level.
Another player we do want to talk about who was from the Valley in Alameda, Miller Moss, the USC quarterback, piloting the Trojans to the win in Las Vegas against LSU. Huge win for the Trojans. They were a 4-point underdog going into the contest. I thought Miller Moss was terrific, and his numbers, look at him, over 375 yards, 378 to be exact, threw a big touchdown, and he was terrific.
Huge opportunity for him. Obviously a man that did not transfer, didn't pick up and leave, stuck it out and earned his opportunity. I covered him at Alameda. These are a couple of plays. That's actually him throwing to Kevin Green, who ended up being a Division I wide receiver. But this is a very eerily similar touchdown throw. I think I have the video, maybe not. But anyway, this is it. The touchdown strike he threw to Jacoby Lane down the right sideline, very eerily similar to that highlight right there. But when he was in high school, his coach was Casey Clausen. I was the quarterback at Tennessee, ironically. We just got done talking about them. But that's major tutelage right there. And I think we're seeing some of that translate at USC.
Yeah, Miller Moss can sling it, and he's so accurate. Trojans have a great one, the former Alameda star. I think Moss is going to have a big year. Of course, Caleb Williams was their star last year, obviously on to the Bears, but Miller Moss is going to have a big-time season. I know you were excited when we came in here tonight. We was at a launch. We were out in the front out of Vandenberg, and you were going nuts as the sky lit up.
So were you. You thought that the shuttle was going to hit planes.
I did. I had never seen anything quite like that.
Oh man, yeah. And you know what? Neither have I. I've seen stuff online. You see stuff in like movies. But our producer Larry was like, "Hey man, let's go outside. Let's go check it out." And I'm like, "Okay." You know, I didn't expect it to be so far away yet so visible for so long. I thought that was really, really cool.
Larry is a weather guru, or he loves satellites, all kinds of things like that. And it's close to the weather. It's up in the sky.
Yeah,
in fact, he bought a wet bulb for tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess
that
he'll be able to tell us if we're going to be able to play or not.
How many guys do you know buy a wet bulb?
I don't know.
About temperature and all that stuff. So we know you're going to the Mater Dei game. Who do you like in the game?
Yeah, I think Mater Dei.
You really do?
Yeah, I think Mater Dei is going to win the game. I think they're at home, and that's just they just have too much talent, but you never know. On Saturday night, I'm going to the Sierra Canyon St. John Bosco game.
I'm not so sure. I kind of lean Mater Dei, but the Gales have won 27 in a row. They lost a heartbreaker the last time against the Monarchs. I mean, the Gales had a huge win on the road last week coming from behind. I don't know. I think it's a picket game.
Yeah,
I really do.
No, it is a picket game, and I think no matter who wins or loses, those teams are going to get better from that game.
Tarek, we'll do it again next week.
Yes, sir.
For Tarek Fatal, I'm Randy Rosenblum. Stay cool, everyone. I'll be at that El Camino North Hollywood game tomorrow. Remember, it's live. We'll be on the air at 7. The game may not start at 7, but the game will be played, and we'll call it for you. For Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next week right here on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody.
NFL's back, man.
NFL's back.
I'm excited to watch
Mahomes looked good.
He did, but I'm excited to watch Caleb.